Okay, so right after you have created an umbrella term for your IPO framework, which is based on the research design, it is now time for you to write the subparts of your research framework. So, starting with the input. Okay, so as you can see here, we inserted a text box where we will write, or let's say where we can apply or outline. Okay, we outline in bullets, so it is outlined in bullets format, or let's say bulleted. It is a bulleted outline that indicates the inputs of our study. Okay, so the subheading in this one is written in all uppercase letter. Okay, written in all capital letters, and it is centered and then boldface type. Okay, same with the other subheading. So that will be the format. So what are we going to include in our input box? Okay, so all of the necessary materials, necessary materials related to your study. Okay, let's say the crucial materials related in your study in order to come up with your product must be written under the input heading. Okay, again, the input must contain all the crucial or necessary materials needed in your study for you to come up with your product. Additionally, the input of your study also include your experimental unit as well as your independent variables. Okay, so you will outline in bullet form your materials, experimental unit, and independent variables. Okay, so again, the input, okay, will serve as the second guideline of our, let's say, writing the research paradigm. Next, okay, after you have determined the inputs of your study, we will now be ready to proceed with the processes involved in our study. Okay, so in this part, okay, in this part of your research, let's say, paradigm, the processes of your study is outlined also in bulleted format. Okay, and oftentimes the processes that are highlighted in the research paradigm are outlined using a chronological order. Chronological order. Okay, again, so the processes part of the research paradigm outlines the different methods and processes in chronological order. So that will be our second guideline. We must determine the different processes involved in your study using a chronological order. Okay, so after outlining the processes of your study, we need now to complete our IPO format. Okay, so to complete our IPO format, we must expound the output of our study. So the output of our study actually pertains to the product, okay, the product of our study. So what is our output? Okay, so note here, class, okay, that the output part of the IPO format does not only highlight the expected product of the study, it also highlights what will be the contribution of this output, or what will be the significant contributions of this product. Okay, so again, the output part of the IPO format, let's say, illuminates the product of the study in boldface type. Okay, so you can see here, as well as the outcome of the study. Take note, emphasize the output using a boldface type, and then also highlight the outcome of your study. So that will be our fourth guideline. You must expound the output of your study as well as its outcome. Okay? Now, to show the system of our study, we must connect the input, process, and output together. Okay, so we must, let's say, show the interconnection between these three, let's say, labels. So to signify the connection between these three things that we built in our framework, we can use arrows. Okay, so that is our fifth guideline. Use arrows to connect the IPO to one another. Okay, next. After completing the figure for your IPO format, so this whole thing, the umbrella term, the input, process, output, and the arrows, is known as the figure of the research paradigm. Okay? Now, after you have completed the figure of your research paradigm, we have to, let's say, write the figure title. So below your framework, so below this figure of your framework, you must write, or let's say indicate, the title of your research framework figure. So it is written in an inverted pyramid format, okay, in boldface type. And take note that you will be using title case capitalization. Okay, so you must capitalize all the important words in this title. Okay, so it goes like this. So if you were to write the title of the IPO format, you will write Fig 1. Okay. So in order for you to write the title of your figure, you must follow the following format. So we have Fig 1, period, then input, process, output, IPO model of, then your research title. Okay, so that is how you formulate the title of your figure, and that will be our sixth guideline. Okay, indicate the title of figure in an inverted pyramid format. Okay, now after constructing the figure of your IPO model right below the figure title, you will have to write a one paragraph description of the framework. Okay, so to write the one paragraph description of the framework, you will need to start with, let's say, the introduction of the IPO framework. Okay, you will have to, let's say, introduce the IPO framework of your research using a one sentence, okay, as well as your research design. And then it will be followed by a one sentence discussion of the inputs, then one sentence discussion of the processes, and one sentence discussion of the output. Okay, so that will be the, let's say, proper way on how you can explain, or let's say give description to your figure of your research paradigm. And that will be the last guideline of our IPO format. So that concludes our lesson regarding the research paradigm.